Hey everybody, Sean here. I'm making a video tonight that reality is I never intended to make this video. This is a video that reality is, I didn't want this on my tech channel, but now if it's gonna work, it has to be. Number two, I need to address a comment. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen the comment that my ex-wife left on my YouTube channel, but on the video talking about where's all the content been, why haven't I had content coming up, the things I was going through at the time. I posted that video December 26th, 2023. The current date is June 2nd, 2025 at approximately 7 something. I don't remember the exact time. I got a notification on my phone that, I don't remember the name of the channel, but I know it's her. That Lucinda P1Z left on my account. You guys know her as Lucinda P1Z. I knew her as Rebecca, so I will probably be calling her Rebecca. She left a comment on that video and it prompted me to make this video. My side of the whole story about what happened between me and her has never been released. I did not really want to release it because in reality, y'all just need to know that we were no more. The guys that watch my channel need to know that we were no more. I would have hoped she would have made the same video, but I don't know. And I really don't even look through her channel because the reality is the channel is one of the reasons we broke up. Comment has a lot of things in it. I'm just gonna read the comment and pick out the things that I know that I need to touch on and tell my side of the story as of what happened, why are we no longer together. Again, I didn't want to make this video. This was not anything in my roster to make. I had no intentions of making it. Honestly, I didn't care what her family thought about me. I just really didn't care. I just wanted it over. The reason she said she left is reality, not the reason she left, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I'm just gonna go ahead and read the comment. The comment says, maybe next time don't pull a gun on me, that's why I left. And BTW, I've moved on, and you should find someone who can handle you losing control and pulling a damn gun on them. And BTW, since you've done that, I've been really good with a gun now and swords, and I have been well, and I am safe from you, and you can remove this comment, and I'm shocked you're still subbed to me, and I've grown up now, and it's fuck around and find out nowadays, and I don't deal with drama, and hope you can let people know the truth, that you pull a gun on me when I was trying to defend myself. Maybe one day you will own up to it. Okay. I'm glad you moved on. Did you not look at the date of the video? It was dated December 26, 2023. It's June 2nd, 2025. If you're just now seeing this video, you would realize that the date of creation was over a year ago. And yes, I have moved on. I'm much happier now. I may not be married. I may not have kids, but I'm much happier. So, yeah, I've moved on more than you think I have. I'm glad you've moved on. I'm happy. And you know what? I'm really happy you got into guns and that you know how to defend yourself. But let's address what the whole situation was. I got a text from your brother-in-law that you were sending your sister's new boyfriend pictures of your bra with you in it. And because of that, I did my due diligence as a man who would hear those things and said, let me look at your phone, which by the way, the whole time that I was looking at your phone, you were being super protective of it because you knew what you had on there and knew that I would find it. I proceeded to look through her Discord, and I found evidence of her sexting her sister's new boyfriend, and he's going to remain nameless. This is not the first time that I had found her in these situations. I walked out of the room because I was mad, so I had more self-control than you, and you were in there screaming and cussing out my mother. So let that sink in for a second. Maybe I shouldn't have pulled a gun on you. Yeah, it's not a thing I was particularly proud of. But let me address why that happened. That happened because in the midst of me getting my tools out of your car and coming back, and I wanted to talk to you without my mother in the way, and you were determined that you were just gonna run. You had it made up in your mind long before the gun came out of its holster that you were going to leave because you were going to run from the truth. The gun was pulled after you had picked up a 10-foot steel galvanized fence post and said, and I quote, and people heard you say this can end in violence. Now, because I saw a threat upon my life, I gave the warning that you should put it down with a gun drawn. Had you ran at me, I would have shot into the ground twice. Let that sink in. No shots were fired. Both of our neighbors at the time were outside and witnessed that altercation and have told me that if I needed them to be a witness in court, they are glad to. You don't have witnesses because all your witnesses live in Arkansas City now. I've moved on. I can handle. You need to find someone who can handle you losing control and pulling a damn gun. I want you to think about it. Was there any other time outside of that one that I did that? Let that sink in. You were trying to defend yourself from what? The boogeyman? The guy next door? Keep in mind, you had a weapon in your hand long before I did. You're shocked that I'm still subbed? We'll deal with that in a minute. I'll take care of that in a minute. Basically, this whole thing is that you are continuing to play the narcissist game, which after you left, I figured out what you were. Let that sink in for a minute. You might have fooled me for 2.5 years. But the one who lost control that night was you. I was still in my right mind that whole night, despite being very shaken of what I found on your computer and your phone. Now, I want to tell my side of the story. We got married January 21st, 2021. It was quite a rushed wedding because you had, quote, been kicked out of Chuck and Nelda's house. Upon further conversation with them, I found out that was not true. That's what you heard. We lived okay. The time when you didn't have a gaming computer, I felt like that the marriage was going to work and we were going to be happy. And you seemed happy, I seemed happy, everything was okay. The second we introduced gaming into the mix, it started going downhill rapidly. Within about a month, she had a Minecraft license, she had a computer that I paid for, multiple grand of hardware. I gave up my personal gaming PC because I wasn't playing that much, so you'd have something nice to maybe start a career. The thing you kept wanting to do was to start a career as a content creator, which you didn't really take seriously. Every time that I would try to show her affection, I would get growled at. Like it would be snarls and growls. One time I kissed her and she bit me. Fast forward to October, I don't remember the exact date, 2021, just 10 months into the marriage. It started that morning. I get a notice that one of our bills had bounced. I log into the bank account to discover that it had practically been drained. There was multiple hundreds of dollars gone in one morning that she had spent on Discord, Minecraft, and Roblox, knowing that we didn't have the money. Our phone bill bounced. I log into the bank and discover that outside of our savings account that there was only about $4.30. I immediately called the bank and attempted to dispute the charges, and they told me it probably wouldn't work. I had asked about canceling her debit card. They told me that because it was a joint account, she could just easily walk in and get another one. We had chosen to pull her debit card out of her wallet and put it in a drawer in my mother's area. That night I decided that I needed to look through her computer. What I found was that she had had dating conversations, dating two guys and a girl. I immediately confided in my mother, which may or may not have been a mistake. I don't know. I still don't know the answer to that, of what I found on her computer, and that I needed to address her. And if you heard loudness, that's what's going on. My mother immediately proceeds to go in and lecture her about that. I tell her that it was not right and that she did not need to be doing that, but that I would forgive her this time and that some things were going to change. One, even though she had just spent over $100 on Discord Nitro and several other things for the year, I deleted her Discord account completely. I removed the app from her computer. I made her remove the app from her phone. And that was that. The other thing is that the computer moved out of my bedroom because I was only there about 6-7 hours a day, and I'm also visually impaired. And we moved her computer into my parents' living room. It stayed there until we moved into our new house. I waited until we were in the new house before I said, I feel like I could trust you. You've made strides, and if you keep it in control and you're not doing anything that you know you shouldn't be doing, you can create a new Discord account. Coming to find out, she'd already done so and was secretly hiding the apps. She had began to video call people on Discord and would stay on the phone with them for hours and hours and hours at a time. Unbeknownst to me, on February of 2023, she had began a relationship with a 15-year-old male known as Tyler the Snake here on YouTube. She had went on to make his profile say things like my lover and that kind of thing. Keep in mind, at this time, she was 23 years old. And she was dating and exchanging very immodest pictures of her body parts to this young man. He was also exchanging pictures with her because I found a few of his too. I did not know about this until after the fight. But throughout that time, I would try to hug her and kiss her goodbye to go to work. And it would be ended with growling, snarling, or just straight dismissal. Be reality, it's my fault as much as anything because I dismissed it. I'm just like, okay, you're just busy, you're playing your game. Oh well. Fast forward, it's past my 30th birthday, July 1st, 2023, July 4th. We went to her grandparents' house to celebrate the 4th of July. Everything seemed well. We're going to have a good time until her brother-in-law comes in and says, hey, we have okayed your sister and her new boyfriend to come to the house. Again, didn't think much of it until I realized how close that Rebecca and the boy were coming pretty quickly. Her excuses were, I'm just catching up with an old friend. I took up for Rebecca when her sister came to me and said they talked all night. And in reality, they really didn't, because we slept in the same bed. And we went to bed at a normal hour, I would say. Everything's fine and well. We go on the 5th. I needed to get back home because I knew I had a job I needed to get to. On the way out, we stopped by her real parents' house. This is where I think the downhill turn was coming. And in reality, I think she was planning this from the beginning. I dismissed it. They talked on Discord. I didn't know what they were talking about because in reality, it's my fault. I was being too dismissive. July 13th, 2023, I actually made her come to dinner at my sister's house against her wishes. She wanted to stay home. We are sitting in my sister's living room. She has her phone in her hand. And I get a text message from her brother-in-law stating that her sister is claiming that she is sending bra pictures to the boyfriend. I say, okay, thanks for letting me know. I will look into it. We get to the house and I looked. I really couldn't find bra pictures, but she had been known in the past to delete things, delete conversations after she had made them. But what I found was a private server that her and the boyfriend had called, let's call this our private role play server. And they were role playing very sexually explicit scenes. Things that a married woman should not be doing with another man except her husband. Which really took me by surprise. Yes, I got a little angry because here's the reality. This is things that I probably shouldn't say, but I will. But in the reality is in the 2.5 years of marriage, we had had sexual activity about a grand total of 12 times in the entire marriage. My personal theory is that during the times that we weren't, and in 3 or 4 of the last times we had had any kind of activity, she looked at her phone the entire time. One time I literally took the phone out of her hand. The last time was about 6 months before this whole situation. July 13th, I look at her phone, find this activity. I walk out of the room because I knew I was going to say things that I shouldn't say at all. I had a be angry and sit not mentality, and I walked out. During that point, she proceeds to cuss my mother out. Now, mind you, the Friday before, we went to a job, and I still had tools in her car from that job. I still had a tool bag. I had my smart machine. There were some batteries for a UPS that stayed in the car, and a bad microphone. I proceeded to, she comes in the house. I'm looking through her computer at some more of the things that I'd found and some of the things she was doing in some group servers. She comes in the house and the only word out of her mouth is goodbye. And I said, what do you mean? She said, goodbye, I'm leaving you. That's when the major argument began. I said, hang on, let's talk. She said, no, I'm leaving. I stand up from the computer. I'm about 6 feet away from her. She picks up an item and throws it, which triggered me. At that point, I am autistically melted down. I'm upset, but yet I was in one of those states where I still had my full range of mind. But I proceeded to pick up a table that had some projects on it that I was working on, throw the projects off, and proceed to throw the table into the TV set. Again, a moment I'm not proud of. This was after I had walked up to her to talk to her, and she had punched me and pushed me. Which when I said, well, I need your keys because I need to get my tools out of your car. She hands me the keys and says, go. She proceeds to pack a suitcase with some clothes. And I go to the car and I am emptying out the car as fast as I can of anything that I know that I still need, including my tools that I had bought for the car. I get it all into Mom and Dad's house. My dad is just coming home to this major blowout. I made the decision in my mind that I needed to know some things. Rather than give her back her car keys and make her talk, knowing she would just run, I held the car keys and I said, why did you do it? Not knowing of the activities with Tyler. Why did you do it? Why did you do it? The only thing she kept saying was, give me my keys. Give me my keys. I said, can you just tell me why you did it? I had every intention of letting her go. I was done. You cheated on me once, shame on you. You cheated on me twice, shame on me. Within minutes, she is over at the neighbor's yard where we had a tree fall right before we got married, and has picked up a galvanized steel fence post, holds it up like she's going to run at me with it. And the words that come out of her mouth were, I quote, this can all end in violence. She proceeded to prepare to swing the rod. I'm about 10 feet away from her. Seeing that my life is now in threat, I removed my handgun from my holster and held it in such a way that it wasn't exactly pointed at her, but it was pointed in a general direction. I was pointed at like the wall of the house. And I said, and I quote, I hate to talk like this, I'm in a church right now. Damn right it can. Now, put down the pole and let's talk. She throws the pole, and immediately upon dropping the pole, I holster my handgun and stick it back in my pocket that I was carrying it in. At that point, she walks towards the house, and I'm standing in the front porch and said, why did you do it? She still won't tell me why she did it, but then she proceeds to say that I've never loved you. I used you to get out of my grandparents' house, and that it was easy to do because you were autistic. I proceed to think that maybe she's lying, because she had been known to tell lies, lots of lies. I said, well, let's go talk to a marriage counselor. She said, no, do you not hear me? I don't love you. At point, she picks up a broom in the yard and throws it, and it connects with the back of my head. She then proceeds to pick up a mop bucket and slam it into the side of the house, damaging the siding. I hold the car keys because I want her to talk, and she says, no, give me my keys. I told her, no, sue me for it. With the intention of keeping the car, which I didn't need the car, I didn't want the car. I wanted to see how serious she was. I take the keys, I throw them at my mother and says, keep these away from her, and I walk out of the house. My dad comes home, me and Mom get in the car. She is walking on foot down the street that I live on. We stop at the stop sign. We see her. And at this point, I'm like, she's going. And I told her, I said, listen, your keys are on the couch in Mom and Dad's house. You may leave. At midnight, I'm talking to her brother-in-law about the situation. And she said, well, his account may have been hacked. I said, okay, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I call her. I say, listen, I can help you out with this, but you got to let me. She says, no, I'm done. I want a divorce. We're over. And she hangs up the phone and turns off her Life 360. She left about 90% of her things that she came with and the dog. I had every intention in reality of keeping the dog, because in reality, I was the one caring for the dog. I would come home to find that he had no food, there was crap everywhere in the house, and she would have the dog door shut, saying that he ran out of it and wouldn't come back. He was running up to my parents' house because my mom put out food for their two dogs, and he knew where he could get food and water. I would come home, put out food and water for him, all that jazz. The dog went underneath a shed on the property and buried himself. He was not going with her that night. He stayed there till about 2 a.m. I'm still sitting in my recliner crying. The next morning, I get a text from her mother. I want to hear your side of the story. I'm still rattled, and I haven't found out about Tyler. I honestly couldn't look through her Discord. I was too upset. But everything of hers was still logged in. Her Discord, her Facebook, I had access to everything. About almost a week, I brought myself to go look through her Discord. I pulled up her computer and started scrolling. I had downloaded a plugin where I could download the logs of Discord because I knew I was going to find things. I had done it because I wanted to log the activity of her and the sister's boyfriend. I wanted to have that available for me to take to court. I had went to Walmart and bought a 32 gigabyte USB to put everything I could get on. Screenshots. I was screenshotting things. I was showing it to her mother, her real mother, and I was letting it be known that, look, there's more than meets the eye what she's telling you. Me and her mother had talked for a couple of days where I had continued to explain the situation, and reality is they weren't hearing it. Fast forward to Wednesday night, I didn't find out everything, but I found out the end of a conversation of her and Tyler on YouTube, Tyler the Snake. Mind you, I did not know that he was 15 at this time. I thought it was just an legal aged male that she had just started a relationship with and calling him my lover. I began to download logs, anything I could get. There weren't many pictures, but there was evidence that she was sending him pictures because she wasn't deleting the messages saying, oh, you like that, don't you? And there would be a gap where a picture would have been. I found pictures of her nudity on her computer. I backed all of that up. I ran several undeletes on her computer, pulling up all kinds of information, all kinds of things that I wish I wouldn't have found. I tell her mom, I said, I need to talk to her because I've discovered why she left. Instead of calling me that night like she said she was, she proceeds to block me on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere. Blocks me completely. Stating that we were not going to talk and that she was just going to continue to believe Rebecca. About a week later, I'm watching YouTube and I discover a video uploaded by Tyler the Snake saying my 16th birthday. That's when all the stars clicked. I discovered that she had been dating underage boys on the internet. I found evidence of about 3 or 4 different underage boys that she had been talking to. But Tyler was the one that she was doing the most with. I was nowhere in that existence. They were in a phone call one time. She had texted him saying, "Oh, my dad's home." I was not her dad. I was her husband. At this point, I began the move on process, and I knew that it was going to end in divorce. I went and found everything I needed to find to file a divorce. I had looked into a fault-based divorce, and in the state of Louisiana, it was almost easier just to do a non-fault-based divorce. That was the route we went. I played everything by the book. It took about a year for everything to go through, but finally on July 2nd, 2024, the divorce was final. I sent everything of notice that, hey, this is the court date. You can come if you want to. You can tell your side of the story. I had in my pocket a USB drive of the messages, the logs, and neighboring witnesses. Both of my neighbors had seen the entire altercation that happened in the backyard outside. They had wrote up statements and had helped me, and one of my neighbors, being LE, helped me get everything that I needed to be legal in that statement. That way, if she tried to call the police just saying that he pulled a gun on me, they could go back and see my statement and know why. I had already played the victim card before she would even have a chance to play the victim card. The comment is her continuing to play the victim card. I never intended to make this video. I didn't want to make this video. I didn't want to discuss this anymore. I was done. There was no need for me to. Everybody that was in my circle knew what happened. Everybody that wasn't in my immediate circle, such as some people from her church, her former church, some people in my church, and some people that me and her both knew together that did not know the entire situation as it stood. Now, the world knows the situation as it stands. I don't normally upload this content to my Tech Adventures YouTube channel. This is mainly for Tech Adventures and not this content. But because the comment landed on Tech Adventures, it needs to go there. This needs to be addressed. Rebecca, I own it. I pulled a gun on you. Is it the proudest thing I've ever done? No, not in a million years. But that's not why you left. You left because you never loved me to begin with. You saw an easy out. And all you had to do was play the good girl card until we were married. That's all you had to do. I called you your sister that night because you did exactly what she did to her husband, your brother-in-law. I chose not to believe some of the things that your grandmother told me about you, that you were hitting on other boys while we were dating. I chose not to believe those things. I chose to believe you. And I can see that I made a grave mistake. And for that, I'm sorry. Had I would have known that she was really telling the truth and that you were the one lying, I would have never married you. I would have dumped you. If I would have known that your conversations with the boy on the internet that sent me saying that you were talking to him, if I'd have known that that was happening for real, I'd have dumped you that day. I'd have left you. Even guys like Cowboy came out and said what you were doing. I chose not to believe any of them. I had jacked it up to that you were good looking and that they were jealous. But now I can see the whole situation. I saw it. I chose not to make this video. I chose just to leave this subject alone, let it be done, put it under the bed, put it under the rug, call it a day. The real one who hasn't moved on is you. And in reality, I think I'll haunt your dreams. Because I loved you. I laid down everything for you. I made sacrifices for you. I made sacrifices for my business for you. I gave up things for you. I almost completely disconnected with my entire self, except for the guy that got up, went to work, and came home. I had no life. We'd come to church camp and you would just avoid me. And here's the thing. People saw it. Diane saw it. Vanessa saw it. Kimberly saw it. But none of them wanted to say anything to me because they knew it would hurt me. The things they were seeing you do. A couple of them even caught you doing things in the dorm. Talking to Tyler and some of the other boys you were talking to. And saying the things you were saying. They thought they were just going to protect me. I told them, I said, I wish you would have told me. There's a bunch of people in here that are mad at you. I want that to sink in. You never left because I pulled a handgun. It might have been the final straw. It's something you could use in court if you were the one to go file the divorce. And believe me, I saw your GoFundMe account. You say you didn't have no money to your name and that you needed food. I just laughed. Because I'm like, you lived here and I gave up everything to make sure you had 3 meals a day and a computer to play on and internet. I was really happy that the one time I got a little bit of extra money, instead of spending it on things that I wanted, because there was a lot of things that I wanted at that time that now I have. I said, you know, I need to pay her phone off. For some reason, I just had that feeling I need to pay your Moto G stylus off. Glad I did. I didn't even get a final bill. I called T-Mobile, told them what happened, and that I needed that phone line canceled. The lady on the other end was so nice that she canceled my final payment on you. I had to change my phone number. No, I'm not putting it out here. Because your bill collectors for your car insurance and other bills that you had racked up started calling. To answer the family's question, what happened with the $10,000? It's simple. She spent it. I kept having to tap into that to pay bills. Everything that I borrowed out of that $10,000, I put back. But I was having to borrow out of that $10,000 just to make sure that we had a phone. Or to make sure that the credit card was paid. And yet still I gave you $50 a paycheck, between $35 and $50 a paycheck. You wouldn't even hold it for an hour. You'd have something bought on the internet. Sometimes I'd even be generous and buy you more or give you more. You came on a job for me and I felt like you did a good job, I'd give you more. Giving up things that I wanted. I never once in the house pulled or pointed a gun at you. And I know that some of the things you've told people is that I was always pointing loaded guns at you at the house. Des, I can thank you for 2 things. One, for showing me that I was gullible. Well played. Two, you helped me seek out narcissism. And three, you told me the things I needed to do for the next one, if there is a next one. I still haven't 100% healed from those things. Yes, I've forgiven you for the things you've done. It's your choice whether to forgive me or not. That's only a decision that you can make. I'm not going to make it for you. And I never once lost my temper and took it out on you. I never once laid a finger on you that wasn't a loving finger. I never punched you. I never hit you. And I never raped you. So you just go ahead and tell everybody that you want your lies. Whatever you need to believe to make yourself feel better. Your lies doesn't affect me. Even the lies in that comment. Good. I'm glad you moved on. Glad you're growing up. I wanted to be nice about about several weeks ago when I saw a new video come out. It was actually good quality. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Then you showed your true colors towards me without me even asking and without me prompting any behavior towards your channel. You're shocked I'm still subbed? Well, guess what? I'm gonna help you out. I wanna do one thing that's just gonna help you out. It'll make you feel so much better. You're shocked I'm still subbed? You don't want me subbed to your channel? You don't like the juicy income from my clicks that I still give you, even though I have a hard time even looking at your face because of the things you've done to me? Okay. Okay. So here's your YouTube channel. As you see, it says I'm subscribed. As of 12:38 a.m., Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, sitting here on the grounds in Noxapater, Mississippi. I'm now unsubscribed. There you go. I hope you're happy. That's what you wanted. I don't need your content. I didn't even really watch it that much to begin with, except for maybe a couple that looked good quality. You had everything, and I mean everything. Somebody who loved you. People who made sure that despite what you did the first time, made sure you still had food. Because I've had to ask her multiple times. I had to ask my family multiple times to buy us food. I had to borrow money from them more than once after the $10,000 was gone. That's why you never got it back. I'm glad you moved on. I did too. And this video is just further proof. And to be real with you, I feel a lot lighter than I ever have. Hope you got your answers. Guess what? I even owned up to it publicly on my YouTube channel that has the most subscribers. I'm not even gonna put this on random videos. It's just gonna go right on Tech Adventures, the same channel that you posted that comment on. And I'm gonna share it in more places. Hoping that maybe some people that are in a distant friend circle that you know as well sees the videos. And if you want to do more, I still have the evidence of you sending pictures to Tyler the Snake. And I've had a great conversation with his parents that even he doesn't know about. And said they wouldn't prosecute unless if I wanted them to. I told them, no, it's fine, unless if you feel that you need to do that. They were not happy with you. But I can call them up and say, I can email them up and say, hey, let's do this thing. I don't want to be that guy. Hope you have a great life. I hope your life gets better. Because mine sure has. My business has grown to new heights that I can't even begin to imagine. I've been promoted at work. Me and my boss work hand in hand and practically run the business. I'm very thankful for the people I have in my life. I have tons of real people in my life that saw me at my lowest and picked me back up. I'm happier than ever. I've discovered my personality again. I've got money in savings. I've got money in checking. I'm able to do things that I want to. I have yet to have a late payment on a bill that wasn't just an overlook or a mistake. Yeah, I've moved on. I moved on when I made that video. I was still sad. I was still upset. I was still battling depression. I bet you now I don't. The only thing I have to say is that you need to get right with God. And I mean really get right with God and get some conviction. I've gained a friend circle that I've never had before in my life. I'm thankful for every friend I have. Well, thanks for watching. I'm sorry that this isn't tech related. I will have some really cool tech related things coming pretty quick. In fact, I will do the Noxer shootout again. That's coming up in about 3 days. I will do a Noxer shootout. That's going to be a yearly tradition on this channel, is the Noxer shootout. It's coming. It's coming in about 3 days. I will make darn sure that I get that shootout. I owe that to you guys. I will do a tech rundown. I've got a video maybe one day, if I get time this week, that I'll post showing my favorite Waves plugins that I'm running on the show that we're here on now. Your comment rattled me, but I'm free. Oh, thank you for helping me be free. Thanks for watching.